think it's important for a pilgrimage to have a focus, to have a destination. The Bethlehem Peace Pilgrimage destination was walking to Bethlehem for peace. But it also had a focus that you could plug into even if you were only with them for a while. The idea of walking for peace, of trying to impress on the people that you met or on yourself the evils of nuclear warfare and of the buildup of armaments in our country and in lots of countries for war.
The first day of the pilgrimage was like a wedding. It was filled with people that we hadn't seen in a long time. 500 or 600 people came out to join us. We were thrilled. They were all supporters, and it felt like maybe peace would happen after that many people being for what we were doing.
Of course, in the beginning, we were very much full of hope. The amazing thing was that we never really lost that hope. We stayed together as a community. We began as 13 people at the Trident Submarine Base near Bangor, Washington. And 7,000 miles later, all 13 of us were still together, walking into Bethlehem.
We were a group of 13 people in the beginning, ranging in age from about 20 to 67. I think George was 67. Most of us were just normal, everyday, middle-class young people who wanted to do something about the nuclear arms issue.
I felt like I was in on the gelling of a community and really let in by the core, so that I felt a part of the growing community, part of the brotherhood, the acceptance.
So let there be reconciliation, let it spring throughout creation, from everyone to every nation.
I remember John Drury, who wrote a special song for the group, which was really used by them for a while.
Don't let the sun go down on your anger, let the waters of life wash away your fears. The power of love is growing strong, and the touch of love will wipe away all your fears. So let there be reconciliation, let it spring throughout creation, from everyone to every nation. Oh, let there be reconciliation. So raise up your hearts, so raise them up, for he died that we might live. Oh, lay down your arms, oh, lay them down, for he died that we might live. You know he died that we might live. And let there be reconciliation, let it spring throughout creation, from everyone to every nation. Oh, let there be reconciliation. Do not be deceived, I tell you, to plot the death of life is sin. For a tear appears already in my good Lord's eye, as he prepares to gather his to him. So let there be reconciliation, let it spring throughout creation, from everyone to every nation.
I wish the hell would start going downhill instead of going up all the time.
Okay, and then from Hoopville... Oh, no, wait a minute. There's another branch in the road right here. Who thinks we're lost?
I think we're lost.
I used to tell people that we were going to make it to Bethlehem in spite of ourselves, and that's really true, you know. You learn a lot on a trip like this about being fully human. We all make mistakes, and we all get lost, we all bitch and complain. But by understanding how small we really are, with the help of one's faith and one's community, incredible things are possible. You can even walk to Bethlehem.
There's something about the physical energy that's used and the burning up of energy every day, so that you come out clean. You come out each day used up, kind of, in physical ways and in spiritual ways, through having a chance to really pray, to really walk and do prayer. Maybe it was the Jesus prayer that you could say in step with your rhythm as you went. It seemed so natural, you know, when we'd sit down for lunch on the walk to be talking. Or I remember too that Eastern Rite priest who joined us and taught us the Jesus prayer and then had a special mass for us out in the woods one night. All those things seemed so natural and so rhythmic that we would walk, and it was hard walking, a lot of energy used up, but then the relaxing was very total too. You slept well after you'd spent 20 miles on the road.
One of the people who impressed me most on the walk was Father George Zabelka. He's a Catholic priest who's 67 years old, and here he is walking to Bethlehem. More than that, he was the Catholic chaplain to the men who dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was very interesting meeting him because following World War II, he became a committed pacifist. He's very articulate about the evils of nuclear war.
I feel strongly now, as a Catholic priest, that I should have been more shocked at the indiscriminate killings that I was able to be a party to, not only in the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but also the firebombing that was going on by hundreds of planes over Tokyo and other Japanese cities. It was just a sudden realization that one plane could do what hundreds of planes had been doing before, kill hundreds of thousands of innocent women and children that were on their way to school in the morning at 8:15 in Hiroshima, and probably in the kitchen and getting ready for their work, and people on bicycles driving. And suddenly in one instant, this horrible thing of just wiping out 80,000 to 100,000 people in one city.
You know, it dawned on me that for thousands of years, people would go off to war. They'd leave their families, their loved ones, their jobs. With our pilgrimage, we were doing the same thing. Many of us left families and loved ones, but maybe we were going off to peace.
It doesn't cost quite as much to go off to peace as it does to go off to war. Of course, one of your most expensive articles is your shoes. It took me 2 pairs of sandals to walk the entire 7,000-mile distance to Bethlehem. Outside of that, our community had an old pickup truck that we hauled most of our gear, and we took turns driving that truck. You have to be able to put up with simple food, like lentil soup and peanut butter sandwiches 7 days a week. And you have to be able to stay in unusual places, such as fire stations, closed restaurants, church basements, or just out under the stars at night. The only other requirement that I can think of for going off to peace is the willingness to sing while walking along the road.
Christians, this is your call. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself.
We couldn't have done the pilgrimage without all of the great support we had from people in small, little, tiny towns in the poorer countries where they came out in droves with torchlight parades and all kinds of signs saying, we're for peace, we're behind you, we don't want these nuclear weapons anymore either, and we are so glad that somebody is doing something about this. Walking through Yugoslavia was such an unusual part of the pilgrimage. We camped out almost 6 weeks. We stayed in a couple of hotels because we were so grungy from being gypsies. But we loved the people there, and they loved us. They were communists. They weren't used to having people from another country walk through their country. The people were poor. They were generous. They invited us in off the streets for coffee or a little brandy or whatever they had. And they loved us.
We always began our day in a circle. It was a time to get together as a community to share prayer and to share common concerns as well as directions for the day. And it was our prayer life that became very, very rich, especially after we'd been walking for over a year and we were in Europe. All of a sudden, we weren't just a community of Americans. There were people from many different countries. There were people from France. We had guests from Germany. There were people from Japan. And what that brought was a lot of different sorts of traditions of prayer. And we also had people of different faiths walk with us, which was really exciting because it was like we had a Muslim woman, we had Buddhist people who were with us, and what that did is it made the experience fuller. It really brought us together as a worldwide community who wanted to do something for peace.
The blessing of the Lord be upon you. We bless you in the name of the Lord.
Another form of prayer to our community was the blessing that we sang to people who had walked with us. It was our way of wishing them well and thanking them for sharing our journey with us. Many people wondered where the idea of a walk to Bethlehem came from. It was the idea of one man, a Catholic priest, Father Jack Morris.
As a priest, I was feeling responsibility because of the young people that are into the peace movement and looking for some sort of sign and direction and guidance and platform for dialogue within church structures. But the whole thing didn't click and come together until I was reading an interview with Father George Zabelka in the Sojourner magazine. He talks about his own long climb from being addicted with the drug of militarism, and he ultimately made his way to become a pacifist. And he said that the only way that we're going to stop this mess would be to pray for our enemies until they became like ourselves, and that if the world's churches took responsibility and condemned all war and everything connected with it. And it was then that I had this surge of energy, and I said out loud, I'm going to walk to Bethlehem.
Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation.
Finally, we were in Jerusalem, and Bethlehem was only a short walk away. I remember our final steps and the people from so many countries who had come to walk the final distance with us. I was suddenly very tired, yet very full of hope, for I knew that one journey was ending and another journey was about to begin.
And in the morning, the sun came up over the hill, and we thought, now this is where Christ lived, the Christ that figured out that peace would be possible if we could love our enemies. Everyone has to somehow find that strength inside them that says, I might not be able to change the whole world, but I might be able to do something. It doesn't have to be very much. It only has to be something. And if my life can make a difference in the world, I think that's the most exciting thing.
Let there be reconciliation. Let it spring throughout creation, from everyone to every nation. Oh, let there be reconciliation.
And in every true act of love, there's a risk we all must take. So lay down your arms, oh, lay them down for earth, if not for heaven's sake. And let there be reconciliation. Let it spring throughout creation, from everyone to every nation. Oh, let there be reconciliation. Let there be reconciliation. Let it spring throughout creation, from everyone to every nation. Oh, let there be reconciliation. Oh.